I see one of my favorite former mayors, Hazel. How are you? Oh, absolute champion, great friend. My friends, I'm so happy to be here today, and I want to thank Jamie McCarthy and the entire AMO leadership for all the hard work that went into this year's conference. It's a tremendous amount of work, and I want to thank you. I want a special thank you to Mayor Jim Watson. Jim, where are you? There you are, right there. Jim, thank you. And I want to thank your whole council for hosting this in your absolute beautiful city of Ottawa. I also want to recognize my outstanding ministers, especially Minister Clark, absolute champion for all the work that you've done. You know, Steve Clark's special. He's really special. He gets it. He gets what municipalities need. And again, I know you've worked day in and day out. We call him Clarky. Clarky, you work day in and day out. And I'm so proud of you and our entire team. We have the whole team here today. We have all the ministers. We have all the caucus members. And all combined, our team here is having, these are pretty staggering numbers here, 900 meetings over the course of this conference. I've always said, and I said it when we met with the leadership of AMO, and Steve, you were there, I'm a true believer in empowering municipalities. Get Queen's Park out of the way. Remember, and I'll say this later in the speech, I was a municipal councillor. I used to have some real choice words about Queen's Park, and I did. And so I've walked a mile in your shoes. We believe in building a better province that actually starts with investing in its people. We need to help them. Not with top-down approaches directed by Queen's Park, as I just said, but from the ground up. From the ground up, and that's why our government is committed to building strong local partnerships with our municipalities. And that starts with working with the municipalities to make historic, strategic, and local investments in our schools, our hospitals, transit, highways, and other critical infrastructure. Over the next 10 years, our government plans to invest, this is a record, $144 billion in local projects across this province. That's $144 billion. That includes over $90 billion alone in public transit and provincial highways to get people moving from point A to point B. We've nominated 350 projects to the federal government for key investment in transit, schools, and hospitals, including 201 transit projects outside, I repeat this, outside of the GTHA, as well as 144 road and bridge projects for rural and northern Ontario communities. We love the North. Our 10-year capital plan also includes $17 billion to build and renovate our hospitals. Hospitals are the backbone of our communities. We're investing $13 billion to build new schools and $1.4 billion to fix existing ones. And finally, we're investing $315 million to improve and expand internet and cell service into more rural and remote communities that connect them to the world. And see, when I went around, that was just a big win for municipalities being connected to the world, and we're going to continue doing that. That is so, so important. I'm really excited to be the first one to tell you today, right here on this stage, on September the 3rd, we will be opening up the intake for the Community, Cultural, and Recreation Streams for the federal ICIP program. My friends, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it, because I'm a big, big believer in community centers, hockey arenas, cultural centers. Again, I say the hospitals are the backbone of our healthcare in communities, but that's the backbone of communities when you're able to go to a community center. This represents $1 billion for important local projects like community centers, sports arenas, and cultural centers. We're giving you the time to prepare, and we're really looking forward to receiving your applications in September. That's what we mean by investing from the ground up. That's what we mean by investing in people. Which leads me to the reason why our government believes these investments in our local communities are absolutely critical. You know me, I believe in honest conversations. It's no secret that the province inherited a massive, massive debt, a massive deficit from the previous government. But not only did we inherit a massive deficit, we also inherited broken systems. Hallway healthcare, schools literally falling apart, overcrowded buses, students falling behind and failing math and social services, literally on life support. And that's why I say we have to work collaboratively together, and we need to do a better job, which we're doing by communicating and partnering. When I was at the cabinet the other day, I said the number one issue, and we're doing a lot better job of doing this, is we want to make sure we communicate. We work hand in hand with every single community and make sure we listen. That's an absolute priority. We can't continue throwing money at the problem as our predecessors did into top-down big government schemes. That is neither compassionate or sustainable. Instead, we're going to work to build Ontario's future together. Municipalities know how to make every dollar count because you know where it's needed most. Not a bunch of bureaucracy out in Queen's Park. You folks live it day in and day out. You know where the bridges need to be fixed, you know where the roads, you know where the schools, you know the hospitals. Each and every one of you understand it. The solution is giving municipalities the tools and supports they need to have more flexibility with their own budgets. Finding savings, driving efficiencies, and modernizing service delivery. And with technology now, there's so much we can do in modernizing. Our government established an audit and accountability fund earlier this year. And I am so excited to learn that 90% of you have taken us up on our offer for funding for line-by-line reviews. We did it when I was a councillor at the City of Toronto. We did it at the province. And again, I am so, so grateful for each and every one of you that took us up on our offer. Because we also offered this to the school boards as well. But only 2 out of 72 school boards took us up on it. It's very, very disappointing. This $7 million fund is an investment to help school boards and large municipalities protect core public services for the future generations. Our government also set up the Municipal Modernization Fund. That's $200 million to help 405 small and rural municipalities achieve efficiencies and plan for their future. We recognize our government moved quickly when we came into office to address our inherited challenges. But my friends, we're listening to you. Today, I'm so excited to announce this to this room that we're providing transitional funding for your budgeting process in 2020 to help our municipal partners pursue greater fiscal sustainability and protect the future of public services. So you can continue to deliver important services people rely on every single day, including public health and child care. And we're increasing funding for land ambulance services by nearly 4% this year, and it will continue to increase to 2020. There will also be no changes to the structure of the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund for 2020 to provide greater. So that's just step one. Giving our municipal partners more flexibility with their budgets and ensuring you can deliver value for the taxpayers, because, as you hear over and over again, there's only one taxpayer. But it's also important to ensure the province is not getting in the way of your success. As I always say, get the province out of the way, help them with the funding, but again, give them ownership. Red tape and too many regulations stand in the way of local communities, focusing on things that matter most. The frontline services people rely on every single day. We're tackling the mountain of annual provincial reporting requirements that you have to face. And Clark, you said, you know, I couldn't believe these numbers actually, and I should have known. Over 400 to be exact. 400 from 16 different ministries. That's just a mound of red tape. Through the top-notch work that Minister Clark did, we've identified 94 reports to be eliminated totally, and 27 reports to be consolidated and simplified. That's just making life a lot more easier for our municipalities. We gave you back your voice when it comes to hosting renewable energy projects. Our government scrapped that awful Green Energy Act, one of the worst pieces of legislation ever that stripped local communities of your voice in these planning decisions. All of a sudden they wake up and there's 100 windmills in the backyard there. And that was absolutely ridiculous. Reducing red tape is also a big part of our housing supply action plan. That is one of my favorites. I got to tell you, just imagine, this is one of my favorites. We eliminated a rule that required environmental assessment before municipalities could plow their own streets. The people at home were sitting thinking, you really have to have an environmental assessment before you can plow your own streets? I've crisscrossed this province, my friends, every corner of this province, and I've come to know so many of you who are absolute champions for your communities and your constituents. We've been working with Mayor Scarpitti, Barrow, and Bevilacqua in York Region to help them bring better subway service to the people they serve. We've worked with Mayors Holder and Preston in London and St. Thomas to get people moving through the rapid bus transit projects. I've joined Mayor Brian Saunderson and Collingwood for the Elvis Fest. I had a great time, by the way, Mayor, in Collingwood. That was a great event. And with Mayor Braden Smith in Bracebridge, Mayor Phil Harding of Muskoka Lakes, and Mayor Scott Atchison in Huntsville when we had that terrible, terrible flooding. Through it all, I've seen how our mayors are deeply, deeply passionate about working for the people. And we have our own champions on our team who've served municipally. Minister Steve Clark, mayor for how many years, Clarkie? 9 years. Minister Vic Fidelli, the mayor, there you are right there, Vic. Mayor of North Bay, Minister Monty McNaughton and Doug Downey, both former municipal councillors. And there are many others on our team who have been in your shoes and who have worked to leave their communities better than they found them. As I said earlier on, I was a Toronto City Councillor for 4 years myself. I was on the budget looking line by line, just like each and every one of you. I'll never forget the day I walked in the office with my brother Rob. I'll never forget this. You think we're under pressure here. And sat down with Joe Pinichetti, city manager at the time. Matter of fact, he was a phenomenal city manager. And Cam Weldon, the CFO. And I was new, I came from the private sector, and I sat down and they said, well, gentlemen, very first day they said this to us, we're facing $774 million of pressure going into this year. You're going to either have to raise taxes 20%, or you got to start driving efficiencies. Well, my friends, we drove efficiencies, we increased services, we looked at lean practices. In our first year, going from $774 million, we delivered a 0% tax increase. I understand, and it's not easy, believe me, so I fully understand where you're coming from. We need to put local communities back in the driver's seat of their own affairs. And again, you hear me repeating it, get Queen's Park out of the way. This is all part of ongoing conversations between our governments, led by Minister Clark and our municipal partners. I encourage you to keep the conversations going. We're 100% committed to taking an active role to support you, so you can continue to do what you do best, put the people first. I want to thank you for joining us this morning. Have a wonderful conference, and God bless you. Thank you.